Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Unshakable Soul Podcast, your podcast where we unreveal the magic and mysteries of this human experience. And today we are on episode 50, and the theme that I want to share with you in our monologue is debunking the myth of busyness. This is a topic that is so close to my heart, close to home, close to the women that are in my community, and it's one that I find is ruining the lives of so many women, not only in Canada but across the globe, because I know this is not only for this little population of women that I know in this part of the world. Okay, so my hope is that you leave this conversation with empowerment and feel inspired to take this small step to create a life, to start recreating perhaps your life into one that is more conducive to allowing your feminine essence to flourish. Because if there's one thing that I know for sure, is that busyness equals death of the feminine. Right? So I'm going to start this conversation. Here's how it's going to go. I'm going to share with you what it actually means to be busy. What is the myth here? And second, then I'm going to go into why people are inflicting busyness onto themselves. Okay, so that kind of goes hand in hand with, oh, there's a choice here? Yes, there is. I'll get to that. And then third, I'm going to explain also the consequences of our busyness. And this is all geared towards women. Yes, you can also have this shared with men as well, but for the sake of my podcasts and what I share in the world, for now it's really geared to women. Okay? And then at the end, I'm going to share 6 or 7 simple practices, or basically reflections that you can take. And you can also chuck in the fucking bucket if you want to. And some of them may resonate with you so that you can start realizing, where is it that perhaps I've been overloading, right? And where is it that I can create more space for actually things that are meaningful to you, right? And creativity and joy and pleasure. These are words I constantly keep hearing from women around me. So I don't have time, Anyways, I digress. So as you can feel, I have so much fire coming up my ass and up my throat, because it's such a topic that kind of like infuriates me to see so many beautiful, creative women, intuitive women, empathic women deplete themselves out of this busyness and the stress that comes with the busyness, that they're not able to fully enjoy life, right? So there's this this desire to to share what I have to share, and again, you take what you want and leave what doesn't resonate, and to support each other, right? It's not a fucking competition. It's not you're busy and I should be busier. Okay? So may this be an awakening, a wake-up call to self-responsibility, and to remind you that you always have the choice. Okay, you always have the choice. And may that choice come from love and not fear. And that's the bottom line. Okay? May your life be guided by love. But to get there, we gotta get through the fucking trenches and the mud. So let's dive in. I'm loving this firing energy, and I just came out from this 5-day flu. I'm still in the men, but I'm like, I'm gonna do this episode today. Alright, let's go. So, let's start. We like to say we're busy. Okay? And we keep our schedules filled with the good things, and also things that maybe we're like, oh, well, I should be doing it. I probably could do this. Maybe I'll just add it on. Okay, so there's a mix of everything on our schedule. The reality is that if we try to do all these things will end up burnt out pretty quickly and completely depleted and joyless. Okay? Little room to explore a creative outlet, to have a meaningful connection with your family, your friends, with yourself, and you'll be constantly in the past or in the forward, in the future. Okay? And that's no bueno. It's recipe for disaster. Okay? And what's really the big inquiry here is that we need to get really, really, really honest with ourselves. Okay? And take a good look at our schedule. And the pattern we see in our schedule, day to day, week to week, month to month, yearly. And remember, maybe our intentions we set at the beginning of the year, I'm going to take more time for me, maybe all these great intentions, then maybe seeing like, maybe there's been some advancement and maybe not. And there's no shame. That's okay. But we want to be able to sit with ourselves and to sit with the truth. The truth is, I've been hella fucking busy, right? And I've been really stressed. And this has caused me X, Y, Z. And I feel disconnected from my body. My family is just wanting to connect with me, but I'm just like never there for them. Blah, blah, blah. Right? There's just projects that I've always wanted to do, but I have never time. I don't have the time. I have to keep on. I feel as though I have to do everything. Everything's a burden. Right? So we have to start observing how we're actually living our life. Right? And how this busyness has been feeding into our struggles. So let me move back. What does it mean to be busy? Let's set the tone. This is the biggest myth. Being busy is not an external condition. Let me repeat. Being busy is not an external condition. Sorry, you can't blame anybody. It's a state of mind. When you realize that, you're like, oh shit. Oh fuck. It's my mind again. Yes, it is. It is. And everything I'm sharing right now, it's not to point at you, stupid you should do better. No, I am literally sharing what I've experienced. What I still experience, now with the light of awareness, it's much easier to maneuver around and navigate it with more ease. But I spent years like playing in this busyness game because I have a mom that's really good at the game, but it's not up to me to change her. So I am sharing this with so much compassion. I just have a lot of fuego right now, a lot of passion for this subject because it's impacted me and my mom and the women around me in a deep, deep core level that it's literally sucking your soul out. So, here it is. The reality is, you're only ever doing one thing at a time. Okay? You're only completing one piece of work or one action in any moment. So, maybe two at the most if you're multitasking, and that's one of our what's deemed as a super gift or a gift for women is multitasking, but at the end that could really become detrimental because we lose our presence, right? And that's just because we're usually very busy and we feel as though we need to do multiple things at once, okay? So when you say you're busy, what you are really saying is that your brain is busy. And I don't know the data really about how many thoughts we have a second, but it's something about like 72,000. I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts going on. Your brain is jumping all around. It's the monkey mind. You've probably heard that before. Monkey mind, it's distracted. It's ruminating on the past. Something you didn't do, something you said. It's anxious. Oh my gosh, it's worrying about the future. Like, I have this recitation. I have to go to this meeting. Holy shit. I have this family gathering. Oh my gosh, what am I going to prepare for dinner or to bring? There's worries, there's to-do lists, there's everything you can imagine is here. Going in, blah, 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 and the monkey's just having fun. He's just having hell of a fun. And you and your little human body and your ego mind is going like, oh my gosh, fear strikes because there's so many things and you become overwhelmed. So the tendency is to just blah. Energy goes out, energy leakage. You try and do everything, burn out. Or you shut down. Boom. I freeze. Oh, I'm just in paralysis. Like, oh, I'm just going to like hide under my bed. So you're going in. And this is depending on the person. Okay, this is when we talk about nervous system a little bit. I won't dive into it for this conversation. If you'd like me to dive into it, drop me a comment and I'm happy to do an episode just on the nervous system. Okay, so again, the mind is just constantly going la da 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 da, and that's the game. It's to be able to stay present and to observe. To get to that stage, it requires practice. Okay, so coming back to this myth debunked that your busyness is literally a state of mind. It's not a person. It's not a thing. Okay, so on top of that, let's add another layer. You're having the thought, I'm so busy. Okay, and your monkey mind, your ego brain, that's trying to protect you and be like, oh my gosh, you should do this. This should really get done today because remember, like you want Sally to get that report. You don't want that deadline to be pushed. Oh, and you better cut your hair because your grandmother really doesn't like it when your hair looks that way. No. So there's also the ego mind coming in here. I won't talk about the ego mind in this conversation. If you want to know more about it, then drop me a comment and I'll make a new episode on that. So you're saying I'm so busy, which in itself causes you to feel anxious and stressed. So can you see that everything's kind of piling on? Okay, so a thought becomes literally a belief, becomes your reality, and that induces an emotion, a feeling, a sensation that you don't like. And that causes you this buzzing, probably. You can feel it in your body. It's like, and that's part of the mindfulness practicing, is trying to catch yourself in those moments of busyness or feeling as though you need to do a lot of things. Right? Those are the power moments, or the power pauses, I call them, when you get to feed in to the busyness and into the rush, or you get to feed into what's opposite of that. Grounded. Presence, breath, your anchor, your body. Okay. So let me summarize. The existence of the client, the meeting, or the deals that are causing you anxiety, the parents, whatever it is, it's actually your thoughts. Mm-hmm. And here's the problem with the thought that I'm so busy, right? It causes stress in itself. And it puts you at the forefront. Like you're literally telling yourself, like, I am so busy. It's like if you didn't have a choice. So you're directly identifying with this emotion, with this thought. And you don't even realize it's a thought. So perhaps a lot of the times we start to blame. We criticize others and we blame anybody we can to put the responsibility on them. No. No. The thing is that this relinquishes control over your mental and emotional experience. Yeah, you have no more control in that sense. So you don't actually take responsibility for your thoughts and your feelings, or what is happening in your calendar. Instead, you just blame. It's easier that way. We want the easy button now. That's the issue with our life we're facing with. In the modern life of the first world countries, I'll put it that way, to speak to those people. We have everything so easy. Right? But it's like, what actually, when we're looking to live our best life, whatever that means, adding more joy, creativity, pleasure, time with family, whatever, like living to my full potential, what does that mean? And what does that entail? What will that take from me? That is self-responsibility. That is reclaiming my power. And that's going to require you to look at how you've been feeding into your own busyness. Yeah, I'm not sugarcoating this, because this is literally the underlying parasite, if I can say it, for a lot of women that I've spoken with and that I've encountered in my life. Busyness. I'm exhausted. It's like if they feel they have the weight on their shoulder, it's a burden too, right? What used to perhaps be something joyful becomes a burden. What they used to be excited for now becomes something they dread. What is going on? Right? So this comes into section number 2 I want to talk about. Why do people inflict busyness on themselves? Like, who the fuck would do that? And before, I want to preface that the feminine essence, or the feminine energy, it's really... Now I'm gonna stick with essence. The feminine essence is receptive. She is leaning back. She is here for life. She is into pleasure. She is creative. She's in the moment, spontaneous. She's playful. She has this multi-dimension nature to herself that allows herself to experience everything in life. The ups and the downs, right? She is also able to alchemize everything. So everything I'm talking about, if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. That feeling of like saying no to that person. You can do it. If I can, you can. I am no different from you. Right? Our gifts lie in our ability to feel. But in order to feel, we need to be present. We can't keep distracting ourselves from life as it's presenting itself now. And that is usually what the busyness is hiding. It's hiding pain, fear. It's hiding low self-worth. It's easier to please other people and to meet their own agendas and to say yes to a bunch of things that we don't really care about. Because then if we didn't say yes to that, well, then we'd be having more time with our thoughts, with ourselves. Oh, I thought I wanted that. I thought I wanted more time for myself. Oh, but shit, now I realize I'm really lonely. Now I realize that I actually don't want to be here. Get out of this. I don't want to feel this pain. Go back into the busyness. Do you see what I'm getting at? Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And it's something that happens a lot. And I'm the first one that's going to raise my hand and say, I believe that. That's why I'm sharing this. So, why would we inflict busyness on ourselves? Well, there's various reasons, but briefly said, there's the societal structure that we live in right now that is conducive for men. And men don't work the same way as women. Okay? Women, we have a 28-day cycle, más o menos. Men have a 24-hour cycle. Enough said. There's nothing more to say here. You can now see in modern day society, in the first world countries mostly, that women have, yes, we can vote now, we have more rights, that's great, yay, but we've actually also chosen to wear the pants. And with our gained power, whatever that means, this power we've claimed, it is becoming a poison to us if we're not aware. This constant need to achieve, to validate my worth by my achievements, by how much I do, by my productivity. right? It is hindering your feminine essence, your sensuality, your pleasure, your joie de vivre, your light, your radiance, your creativity, right? It is creating literally a mini man or a little robot. And this is what creates women that are depleted, exhausted, burnt out, that have bags under their eyes, they're crying, they're confused, they're disoriented, they're disconnected. And this is the saddest thing that I've ever seen in my 31 years. Okay, and this is reflected in Mother Earth. Look at what's happening to our planet. We are abusing her. Yes, she regenerates. Yes, there is abundance and she is fertile in her own right, of course. But we have to provide the right environment and work in harmony with her to support her flourishing. The same for the feminine essence. How are you nourishing yourself? One question. Oh, but I have no time. Oh, but my kids need me. No. How are you nourishing yourself? This is why I work with the cycles of the moon. Okay, there's seasons that need to be honored. Okay, and those seasons will help us learn how to harness our energy and cultivate it so that it's used in the right way. So that we're not leaking. Because what's happening is energy leakage. And what better way to control a population to have a bunch of people that are either robots, basically doing exactly what I say, or that are way too tired to do anything at all. Interesting, right? Okay. So I spoke of two reasons why we inflict the busyness. So one reason, societal norms and the patriarchal society, if we can put it that way. Second is that it modeled as a child for you. So it's all you've known. You've had a busy dad or a busy mom or both. And as a child, everything is a sponge. Your brain is a sponge. So you're just like, ching, ching, ching. And you're observing, you're modeling. And then, long and behold, we got an adult child that's now the exact same. Okay? And the third one I want to talk about is the belief that the more you do, the more you have. So this speaks also the scarcity mindset. I don't have enough. I'm not doing enough. I am not enough. Fueled by comparing ourselves, there's this competition going on. And we don't even know it. You may say, no, I'm not a competitive person. Bull fucking shit. Okay? There's a part of us that seeks value. A big part of us. And that value, we've equated it, for some reason, to being busy. And again, it's not entirely your fault for the reasons I mentioned. Society, your upbringing are the two main ones. Your culture as well. You may feel more important when you are busy. Let's take a breath. I'm getting fired up here, ladies and gents. This is going to be good. So, if you notice you have the desire to tell everybody else how busy you are, it'd be interesting to ask yourself why that is. Okay, so you may equate busyness with being important or valuable. You may believe that being busy signals to others that you are important and valuable, loved, or whatever else. This is the problem. This is good. The problem with using your busyness this way is that it incentivizes you to load your calendar with things. Just with things. Just to occupy your time. But that those things are not necessarily what you truly deeply desire to invest your time in, or your money, it's the same thing, or your energy, it's the same thing, it's all the same thing, it's energy. That's why you're depleted. Leaving no or little time to activities or spaces where you can restore yourself, where you can replenish, right? Where you could receive life, where you can receive insights, be that receptive vessel that you are as a woman. This is draining emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. It's like the Dementor. You just go, in Harry Potter, it's just like sucking your soul. You don't even know it. Yeah. So, this makes it really hard to say no to anything. Because you value yourself as a busy person, or you see the value. Somehow you've equated value and importance and love to busyness. Right? That means that valuing your own time, your own rest, valuing rest, right? Super important part of our functioning as a human being is not valued. Maybe it's even shamed. Maybe creativity is even shamed. No, those things, no. Maybe pleasure's been shamed. So that's a good inquiry. Where has pleasure, creativity, and joy been shamed? Because those three are the biggest pillars for your feminine essence to flourish. So what does this lead to? A people pleaser. So I'm speaking to a lot of women out there in the community. And again, it's not about pointing fingers. It's not about bashing yourself, being, you stupid woman, people pleaser. No. It's the opposite of being like, oh my gosh. Can I hold myself here and be like, all right, there's a part of me that needed to feel valued in that way. And that's okay. And that it's safe to let go of that narrative. And that's exactly what I'll be sharing in my upcoming masterclass. So if you're listening to this between March 1st and March 14th, I'm going to be offering a 3-day masterclass series, March 14, 15, 16, called Dancing with Demons. And this is really when we're going to get into the depth of the roots of like where this all comes from. So this conversation is a surface level and can pique your curiosity. But if you want to dive a little bit deeper with me over 3 days, about 45 minutes each day, then it's going to be Dancing with Demons, and we're really going to be looking at the fears, the self-doubt, the voices, the inner saboteur, how we self-abandon, basically. And we're going to develop the toolbox we need to slowly chip away and to befriend, actually, our ego. To befriend the voice that tells us we're not good enough. And to turn it to fuel, to break through and into a space where we're allowing ourselves that space that we need, that time we need for our creative adventures, our exploration of ourself, of our higher self, of our truest self. Whatever that means for you. So if you're interested, I'll leave it in the description below of this episode, and you'll find the link in the registration page. Okay. Alright, so what are the consequences of our busyness? So I've insinuated this, so I won't spend too long on this, but basically, self-explanatory. You're rushing left and right. You're doing one task and the other. You're overloading your schedule and commitments. You can't actually do any deep work. You can't actually focus truly on being present to what's important. So the consequences is actually separation, which is ironically the opposite of what most women want. Most women want love and connection, if I can summarize in 2 words. Yet we do exactly the opposites in our thoughts, in our beliefs, in our actions, in the words we speak. It brings us further away from what we want. So there has to be a bridging of the gap. And the first bridging of this gap is just simple self-awareness. Right? So we can't enter into our genius zone, into our zone of, I call it the zone of creativity, where things are flowing, where you are so present to life, to inspiration, wisdom comes through, messages, signs, signals, connections from above and from within. We can't tap into that. This is all intuition. Perhaps the greatest gift, along with creativity, they go hand in hand for women. We cannot tap into this if we are kept spreading our energy left, right, and center. Okay, so there is an urgency here, and this is a call to action to take the time for yourself. We need to restore energy and really be so intentional with where we choose to use our energy. All right. So, little reflection questions, and then I'll get on to the practices. Take a moment to breathe here. Settle back into your body. I know I've shared a lot here. Over 30 minutes. So, if you're ready to let go of this busyness, it becomes so fundamental that we begin to reframe what we believe is busyness and what is busyness. Right? To disidentify from the I am busy. Remembering that it's only a thought and that you have agency to change and alter the course of your reality, of your destiny. Right? So we're switching the thoughts to ones that feel more empowering, more trusting. Right? So, these are 3 questions that I'll just put out there for offer, especially if you're associating your busyness to your value. Let's get real with ourselves here. Where are you not creating your own validation and self-worth? Where are you relying on overstuffing your calendar to make you feel okay about yourself? What connection, pleasure, and enjoyment of life are you sacrificing by doing so? And I'll drop those questions in the description as well, so you don't need to be scrabbling and writing right now as I speak. Because now I want to share a couple practices here that are more of this along the awareness piece. They're not to add more things to already your busy life, but again, that's to be kind of like restructured or questioned for the if you do lead a really busy life. And even if you don't, it's still these great practices to keep in mind as a check-in for oneself, okay? Because this is not something like a one and done. It literally is never like that. This is a continuous learning in progress. And we continually show up for ourselves with compassion. That is the secret ingredient. Okay. So number 1 is watching your words. Watch what you speak. Your words are spells. Okay. What are you telling yourself? What are you speaking out loud? Are you saying verbally, I'm so busy, I can't stop working. Oh, it's so busy. Are you falling into victimhood? He gives me so much things to do. There's so much work. Like if you work for somebody else, maybe this is the narrative. Oh, my boss gave me so much, right? This is key. Victimhood is an easy place to slide into, and it is so disempowering. Okay, so doubling to that, notice where you lack boundaries. Where are you afraid to say no? To whom are you afraid to say no? Where do you feel you need more boundaries in your life? Is it at home? Is it at work? Tied to that, are you a person that tends to not ask for help? First one to raise my hand. Me. Okay, if you're a high-achieving woman, ambitious, A-type, go-getter, you go, girl. The flip side of that, if you're not careful, is the burnout. And sometimes that's because we're unable to ask for help. So what is it on your calendar? Take a look at your calendar and be like, are there things I can delegate, or are there things I can completely erase from my calendar, from my schedule? I do this all the time, every day. I have max 3 things on my things to do. And on the weekend, Sunday, there's nothing. There's nothing. And that was hard for me to do. But I needed it. I knew it. I was like, yes. Okay, so if you can delegate, great. If you can't, question the task. Be like, is this really necessary? Right? Like, we have to be able to not be afraid to question. First to ourselves. So you're not directly questioning your body and going in and being like, yo, boss, da-da-da-da. You're questioning yourself because you're allowing, ultimately, things to come onto your lap. So there has to be a gatekeeper. Okay? Next thing, watch your actions and your pace. So this is when slowing down comes in. Do you tend to be rushed? Right? Because sometimes when we're really busy, it's like the mind goes quickly, the body goes quickly. They go hand in hand. That's why mindfulness practices are so important. This is not new, and you probably know this. Okay? And it's not me saying like you should be doing them. Everybody's adults here. I'm not here to baby you. It's just here to witness yourself. You are here to witness yourself being like, oh my shit. You know, when I know I have 5 meetings in the afternoon, like I barely eat lunch. Like I'm literally slurping down a smoothie while I'm scribbling something on my laptop. Multitasking. We've all been there. Right? But how is that serving you? Right? So the invitation is slow down. Catch yourself in the moments when you start doing multiple things. Slow down. Slow down your pace of how you speak. Slow down your pace of your walk. You'll notice everything starts shifting. They all go hand in hand. And what really helps me is when I ground. Right? So if you really feel anxious and you're getting up here, basically busyness is conducive to overwhelm and anxiety, which is a lot of air elements, just like complete overwhelm. Get out in nature. I don't care how busy you are. Unplug. Go out. Slow walk in nature. Find a park. Find a sit spot. I literally 50 centimeters of snow, I have them sitting on my favorite tree in the park. I'm resourcing myself. I'm allowing the mind just to go la da 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 da. Oh, she's sitting da 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 da. What about, oh, you remember you have that meeting in an hour? Oh, you didn't do that thing. No. And you're just there observing everything. And that's a practice in itself. Okay? So if there's one thing that I would say is 2 things. One thing is there anything that you can take off your schedule to make it a 0-0 sum game? And then adding is 10 minutes of your day going out into nature unplugged. Find your sit spot next to a tree, because tree is stability and solid ground. And just simply be there. With all the resistance that's coming up, observe yourself and take in the environment with your senses. This helps you a lot. Being in nature itself is therapeutic, as you probably already know. We need to add more of those times in our day-to-day life. Okay. So let's recap. Watch your words, watch your actions and the pace of them. Get out into nature and ground yourself, unplugged. Ask for help and see if you can delegate. That goes into self-responsibility. Are there things that you are putting on yourself? What can you take off your plate? So this comes into self-responsibility, because you're realizing, oh shit, I have agency over my busyness. It's not actually my boss. It's not actually my mom. It's not my clients. Like, I have agency. I can choose based on my capacity and how much I'm willing to give of my energy and time to this person, project, or pursuit. And I also have the choice to choose how much time I'm willing to pour into myself, into my own projects, into the care of my own body. And that, I think, is the hardest piece, is to switch the value of busyness because there's things out there that are more important than actually taking time here with this beautiful being here. Yeah. And it's made a little bit easier when you realize that when you're depleted, you are no joy to be around. Right? So if it's not enough for you to value yourself and take 15 minutes out of your day for yourself, then what would happen if you didn't take any time for yourself and you kept on status quo, busy, depleted, low energy, which usually breeds resentment and irritability and impatience. Yeah, a lot of nasty things. And, well, who was that spilled onto? My kids. My partner, my parents, if they're still alive, my neighbors, the world. And you're just going to receive you're going to receive the same back to you. And you're going to feel shitty. And there's no bueno feeling shitty. When it's something that's in your control. It's in your agency. All right, I have a couple more here. So this is a reframing of the thought pattern that I want to offer here of, if you're someone who uses being busy as a way to stress yourself out, like I'm busy, and really identifying with it, then maybe this mantra or this kind of affirmation could help you. Busy is just a thought. It's just one of my thoughts. I can't feel stressed out about this set of things I'm doing. Or I can feel neutral. Or I can feel excited. But the things themselves don't mean I have to keep thinking and believing I'm too busy. Yeah. So this is gaining that perspective, that disassociation. You are not the busyness. And you have that agency to shift the narrative. That is only a thought. And there's two last things I want to share. One is recalibration. The other one's reignition. The piece of recalibration is ultimately, as I mentioned briefly, your nervous system is being triggered, usually when you're busy. Okay, you're either fighting, freezing, fleeing, or fawning, which is basically people-pleasing. Just morphing yourself into everything you want everybody else for you to be. Losing yourself in the process. Disconnecting from your authenticity. the importance of recalibration comes into play, and how you actually go about it is in your daily self-care practice, your sadhana. Okay? And I cannot stress this enough. Everything else that I mentioned, watching your words, watching your actions and pace, self-responsibility, like inquiring about delegating your tasks or taking things off, reframing your belief, like that's all great. The most important, and the one that rules it all and that kind of encompasses it all, is your daily practice, which I highly recommend you do first thing in the morning. It doesn't need to be long. This sets the tone for the day. And you're in a space already that's conducive to more clarity. And you're bringing your intention and your attention to what deserves your attention. What are the people, things, and places where you want to put your attention to? And the number one priority is you. Every single day. And that is going to be the hardest practice you'll ever have to do. The rest is easy. Is to learn to put yourself first. And the recalibration piece is during that practice, you have breath that can help recalibrate. Recalibrate is basically bringing you back to center, back to where you can feel the truth of what's present in the moment, but not distorted by the illusion of the fearful ego mind that's pulling you forward or backward and filled with overwhelming anxiety and nervousness. Right? You want to feel the truth. Go beyond that. But you have to be able to be in that for long enough. This is why our daily practice is so important. So for me, for example, it's breath work. First thing in the morning. Movements, get that energy clear. So it's again, cleansing and clearing, cleansing and clearing. Stillness. So contemplation. I'm just here. I'm breathing. I'm sometimes speaking to myself. If there's a question I'm having, and I'm asking for guidance from my guides. Right? I'm also preparing my body for the day. I'm preparing my vessel. And what I do after is I go out for a little walk. Now I've incorporated more of those. So I have a shorter movement practice. Before it was an hour, and now it's short. It's half an hour. So it's like 10 minutes breath work, 30 minutes movement, 5 minutes meditation, and then a 10-minute walk. So in total, it's about an hour. I just walk, just a slow walk in the neighborhood. I go to a spot where I can see the sunrise. And even if there's no sunrise, if there's no sun, I just go to nice trees. I like the pine trees, and I sit there. And I'm just there, and I'm resourced. I say a prayer, thank the universe, gratitude. That's my recalibration every single day. Now, you can do this also in the evening. It's just that we tend to accumulate our excuses over the day, and we tend to get more tired as the day goes by. That's why your morning is your time. Nobody fucks with your morning. Okay. So the last piece is reignition. This is when you realize, okay, well, if I did clear out some of my schedule, well, what is it that I would want to do with my free time? For some of it, it's like, oh, I'm going to lay in my hammock, read that book that's been sitting on my desk for a while. I've just been wanting to read it, but never had time. Maybe it's painting you want to do, right? Or it's the website you want to design. Like something for you, or the hat you wanted to knit, or a creative project. Usually it's a creative project, something that's been wanting to be birthed, but we've never found the time or energy to do so. So it's not about going like full in on it, but it's just for now, becoming curious of like, what projects do light me up from the inside out? It's not somebody else telling me what to do. It's something within me calling for me, little me, to wake up to what wants to come alive, essentially. Right? What is a topic you can speak for hours about? Maybe a podcast is brewing in your heart. Maybe a book. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas, so many thoughts. Start writing. Maybe you're going to write a book. Who knows? But it's at least giving you that space, a kind of the creative, no agenda time. Give yourself that space so that you can explore that facet of yourself that perhaps has been denied, shamed, or just repressed for too long. All right, my loves. I'm going to leave it there. It's been almost an hour and woo! Just take a moment to breathe. Three notes here for you. Be patient with yourself. So much grace and compassion. If anybody knows me, or that has worked with me, I do this sometimes. Grace and compassion is number one on our journey of growth and transformation. For any change we want to see be brought to life into our life. A lot of grace and compassion. Seeking support, finding that community of women, that one person, the coach or the mentor, the therapist that you feel you can trust, that you can talk to them about these struggles that perhaps you're dealing with. And adapting to your needs. So again, as I mentioned, take what you resonate with, chuck everything else in the fucking bucket. Right? There's not a one-size-fits-all here. This is why I work with women one-on-one. If you're interested in working with me personally one-on-one, check out my website. Reach out to me for a 30-minute discovery call. I'd be happy to talk to you. And again, inviting you, if you are interested in diving deeper into okay, I need to get to some root, to some weeds here, to really be able to live a life where I feel more peace, where I have more time for pleasure, where I feel more joy and just more authentic connections to myself and my family, my friends, and life, right? That I feel I'm alive, then Dancing with Demons is your first stop. My 3-day masterclass, March 15th, 14th, 15th, 16th. This is where I'm going to go into our demons, which is basically our fears that are holding us back, and looking at how we can actually befriend them and use them to our advantage to fuel our growth and transformation. And that really is going to be the gateway to Phoenix Rising, which is my baby I've been nurturing for a year. It's a 3-month online program. It starts April 5th. Doors open for enrollment March 16th, so the last day of the masterclass. I open for enrollments, the public enrollments. You can get on the waiting list though. I'll drop that link in the description as well if you're interested. And that really is the journey that takes you from A to Z over 3 months. 12 weeks we'll meet weekly. And it takes you from living in pain to living in your power. Reclaiming your sovereignty, your agency, your ability to take control of your life and to direct it into the path that you want to go. Yeah. All right, loves. With that being said, thank you for being here. So grateful for you. Thank you for listening. As always, if you would love to share this with your colleagues, family, and friends, always grateful to share the love forward. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.